I know I've been doing a lot of NixOS streams lately, but it's such an interesting take on replicating OS standards. And I love that fact. A lot of times you create something in Linux and it's such a different experience for me and whoever might watch this, where Nix, I think you could replicate pretty easily. The thing about it is it's pretty niche and nobody really uses it that much, which makes it difficult for setting up a lot of things. So today I kind of wanted to explore gaming, specifically Diablo 4 and maybe some other ones we might pull up. But when it comes to like Lutris and other aspects in NixOS, I don't know how well it's going to do, how it's going to fare, because we can't really change the base system that much without adjusting the configuration file. I've taken a stab at it a little bit this weekend with the configuration file, but it's still lacking. We've got some tiling issues. We've got some full screen issues. There's launcher things, which I've gone into, especially with Diablo 4 since it just came out. So it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride since this is kind of uncharted territory, but I want to see how well Nix does. Now, other distros are going to play this pretty easily, and I'll show you the little hacks to get Diablo 4 working on your distro because you're probably not using Nix, but it's going to be good. And I did install Lutris already. We will need the Nix configuration. Get out of here. Come on over here. Which I think it's in OS configuration. Let's see where we're starting with the desktop. Now, I've added a couple more things since last stream as well with the Nix. Expanded X server a little bit, added an X randar as I was switching around my video, and I was like, ooh, wait a second. My resolution started showing up like 4K, and it was like super tiny. I'm like, this sucks. So I added this command into there for setting up displays automatically in Nix, especially this configuration of it. This one, actually, we forgot to add the libvirt group. So that's kind of important. And I've added a couple more packages. This Lutris override package, adding wine tricks and wine. Also tossing Lutris in here along with Mango HUD. Anything else that we're at gaming? We've added Steam and 32-bit remote play and that type of thing. Kind of a neat addition for that side of gaming. Just kind of get a base setup system. Now we're also going to modify DWM since, well, let's just launch Diablo 4 and I'll just show y'all. This will be the easiest way to understand it. So we'll just take this and play BattleNet because it does not play all that well right now. So we'll go Diablo 4, minor update. It has been a little buggy on my Windows PC, I've noticed. There's a weird bug in Diablo 4 if you ever play a Necromancer, to where if you log out on one system, you copy all your system files over to a new system and then try to log in, it's going to like hang on a black screen for upwards of a minute. It can be, if it's a really fast system, it seems like it's, maybe 10 seconds. But if it's a really slow system, it can be 3 or 4 minutes where you just sit there and stare at a black screen like it's frozen at the character select, but you can still move your cursor. And you just have to let it do its thing in the background, whatever's happening. And then eventually you can play. So I'm sure they'll fix that bug shortly. But if you do play Necro, like me, you're going to run into problems with that in multiple systems. Let's see here. So this is the start of it, but this is a problem. I've pushed it to a new tag, and it's cutting off about half the screen and not actually expanding. Now, I imagine this could be a Windows setting in the game itself. Maybe this is set to full screen and it's causing me issues. Let's see if we can't like just cheese it. Can we just no? Can I just hit enter? Down? Maybe I can just use a controller, maybe. Right button. Okay, we'll use a controller. Using just the old Xbox 360. And can we go to the next screen? Can't really advance. So, a little bit of a problem here. It does play really well, though, I imagine. And once we get it going. I did play it on the Windows side of things on my dual boot. And that seemed to work. Okay. Start. Left button, right button. No, that just advances it. Can we go tab and go next? Enter. How do you advance this thing? Come on. Okay, what would that be? Oh, what do we got? Use Windows F to switch mode. This might help too. Yeah, the mode is already switched. We have Windows F, Windows Tile. You can see the mode switching up top, but it's not actually doing it. We also have monocule mode, which it's in now, and then back to tiled. It's just not fixing it. And if we do this, and let's say we go Windows F, we quit this, you can see floating screen, but I can't grab. So if we tile it again, no good. Monocule mode or full screen mode, not good. So bugs with Diablo 4 and tiling window management, which we have to resolve. How do we do it? How indeed. So advancing to the next screen here would be easy, and then we could just switch the files that way, or we can switch it through like maybe a config file. If we take a look at this, couple other things. Yeah, borderless window. Yeah, we have to do windowed, but we can't get to the option in the game to change it to borderless windows. So we could maybe find the game files itself and then try and do it that way. So let's just do Thunar. And I believe we put it in games and Diablo 4. Maybe not. BattleNet. Drive C. Let's drill down and see if we can't find it. Probably program files, right? Nope. Program data? Nope. Where do we put it? User profiles and documents. Okay, let's try that. Users, documents, Diablo 4, local prefs. Perfect. Thank you, chat. Let's see what we have. Let's just do a look for border. No. Border? No. Window. Lock screen at full screen window. All right, window. Desktop mode, window mode 1. We only have these, so desktop display mode, window mode would probably be 2. A couple other things here. Let's skip that intro movie, shall we? Yeah. Yeah. Trying to get everything going on NixOS for gaming is interesting to say the least. Now, I think we could probably go display mode, window mode. I want to say, let's just look it up just so we don't screw something up too bad. Let's go workspace 5, display. And if not, we could always mess around a little bit with this. I wonder why Xterm is my default terminal. We'll probably need to change that as well. Display mode, window mode. Display mode, window mode. Looks like, all right. So it looks like this is the same as D3, which is nice. So if you go 2 for windowed full screen, you have 0, which is that. Not nurse, or you can update manually. So let's try to change it to a 2. Seems to be the answer here. Just taking a stab in the dark at it. So now if we go play, this should resize it to a full screen, even at like a half screen. No. Let's push it to a new tag and same problems. Yeah, that's an interesting issue. And we could, if we can advance to this screen, but I don't know what the hotkey is to advance past this. Is maybe we could set it in the game itself, but we already established I can't do it. And looking back on this, let's go into games, BattleNet, Drive C, users, Titus, documents, Diablo 4. All right. And then if we vim local prefs, you can see skip intro movie, display mode, window mode is 1 again. I thought let's just write that out. Thought we did it. Let's just make sure it's saved. Yes, it did. Could be a vsync problem. That's true. Okay, but not full screen is better. So we're going to leave this open. Let's come back into BattleNet. Just see if there's anything in here maybe we could set. I don't think there's a setting in here for it. What about game settings? We could probably do like an additional command line argument if we had to, but I don't think we need to. All right, let's try it. Just close that one more time. We're just going to exit. I'm going to just take a peek at the local prefs again. That still looks good. And now we're going to relaunch. Let's just stop it. That should kill any existing sessions. Okay, one more time. I'm just going to come into Diablo 4. We'll hit play. Now, one way to fix this I just thought of too. Let's push this to tag 4. Yeah, it's still giving us the same issue. All right, let's kill this. Yeah, let's see what we can do with... I'm thinking we could probably do like a Lutris option possibly to fix this. It's another idea. I really hate the BattleNet launcher. I really love to just completely kill this. But such is life. Let's see what we got. So we have these settings. Go to game options, working directory, all that's fine. Runner options. Couple things if you do have problems with running Diablo 4 in Linux. What most people run into, obviously not this, but what they'll run into is, oh gosh, where was it? It was actually on my Steam Deck that had the problem. And it was the, I don't even have it on here. It was a versioning issue that I actually changed. So it was a whole different problem I was having on another version. All right, we can try removing vsync and that. So we got the FPS counter here. Disable screensaver, sure. I don't care about that. FPS limit, I don't care about either. Looking at our cache. I mean, I probably would modify DXVK in the future. VKD 3D is the one issue I did have with. I think it was version like 5.9 and you need to do 5.8 or something in the Steam Deck to get that working. If you do run into that problem, let's disable vsync. Requires kernel 5.16 or later. Wait a second, we might not even be on. Let's do neofetch. We are on kernel 6.1. Okay, well, we definitely are okay there. I do kind of want to do FSR. Esync, that should increase performance. I don't think that's going to be an issue with, that really doesn't have anything to do with the screen. So that doesn't make any sense disabling esync, but fsync could, for sure. All right. Could also set a floating rule for the game itself and then just manually go full screen with it. That's an idea as well. Couple different things. If we go to advanced here, yeah. So if you do run into that issue, 2.9, take it from 2.9 to 2.8, I think. And the VKD 3D on Diablo 4. Obviously here we're not having any problems, but if you do have problems running with it not finding your graphics card, for instance, change the VKD 3D. That will be good for you and fix up your issue, but we're not running any of that. Okay. Let's go ahead and quit this. Do we have it running still? Let's stop it. Oh, really? 5600X will introduce stutter. I mean, we can disable. I don't think we'd run into issues either way, to be honest with you. But good to know. If we do run into stutter, well, let's disable vsync. I'm going to go ahead and leave that off. I'll leave it on for now, but I'll make a mental note of it. Yeah, having the latest kernel is usually not a good idea, though. That's what a lot of people miss in the Linux realm. You never know on a lot of having the latest greatest kernel, unless you're like on the bleeding edge and you just bought like the latest, latest graphics card, latest CPU, latest motherboard. Being on the bleeding edge kernel, I would advise against. You don't want to be on the latest kernel. That's usually not a good idea. There's an old adage in the computer realm, like always update. And I'm like, sometimes updating's bad. Updates introduce inconsistency. And that leads to stability and reliability issues, which matter the most to me. So let's hit play. Let's just come to a new one. Let's just do a quick launch. See, that might fix it. It's kind of hacky, though. I don't really like that. Security updates only for sure. Okay. Let's go next. Oh, it was Y to start the game. That's funny. Let's change some of these. I'm going to put old man settings on because, well, I don't like a lot of that craziness. All right. We're level 31 Necro. We'll get into game and change some of the video around. I don't think it was necessarily anything we did to fix it. We can check the performance. I don't think we're there yet, though. So we got windowed full screen. Let's see. What do we have? Let's go balanced. I guess we could go 144. Although, I think this is a 60 hertz monitor. What do we got? What are we rocking? Oh, yeah. We're 60 hertz 1080p, man. Let's not do something silly. A lot of people like to go like double the FPS. I mean, we can. It's fine. But you're going to be locked at 60 anyway, since that's... I don't understand why people go above that. All right, let's save that out. Let's see. Do we got any stutter? Probably shouldn't have any stutter. We'll keep an eye on our frame times on the other side here. I mean, I don't mind 60 hertz. I'm obviously not much of a snob when it comes to video. Let's see. Huh. Looks good though. There we go. What happened here? 1 second. I got two music going. Goodbye music. Okay. I think he's drunk. Probably need to add game mode too. I'm looking here. Frame times look good. Yeah, there's some talk about getting above 60 FPS. There's no point. If my monitor doesn't go above 60 hertz, why go above 60 FPS? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, we could crank it up. Input latency? I mean, when you get to my age, a millisecond here or two ain't gonna matter. And it's Diablo. We'll enter a pack of mobs. See if we get any kind of lag drop or really the frame times I care the most about. Everyone always obsesses about FPS, but frame times, reliability, smoothness is what matters. Everything else is moot, in my opinion. I don't care if I'm running at 40 FPS. As long as it's consistent 40 FPS, I'm fine. Here, let's just go out and run into some mobs and see if we can't see what our frame times look like. See if we get any kind of FPS drop, because it's just pinned right at 60. I haven't seen any kind of drops. Let's see once we get some effects on the screen. Really don't see anything. You guys see anything on the frame times? Let's get a little bit bigger pack of mobs. Don't really see anything. All right, let's unlock it just to see. I mean, I don't think it's locked. That might be pinned in wine level. Let's go. Oh no, we're doing virtual. Let's go unlock vsync. Limit cutscene. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Cutscenes are usually cinematic and filmed at probably like 24 frames per second for that type of performance. Well, we'll unlock it. Sure, why not? I normally wouldn't change these two things, but for performance sake, might as well. All right, what do we get? 120 FPS. Now, I think that's what did I peg it at 144 or 120? I can't remember. Let's just grab another pack real fast just to see if we should see some drops when we engage in contact. No, I'm not seeing any kind of FPS drop. So I think we're still got an artificial limit somewhere in here. Oh, I saw it drop 1 frame there. Okay. Pretty solid. Yeah, I returned the 2080, got my money back. Thanks PayPal and eBay. So it was fine. The frame times are solid though. Very smooth. Over 100. I mean, we don't really need anything over 60. I'm just doing it for performance. Temps look great. 50 Celsius, 60 on the GPU. We could go all the way in the 80s, to be honest with you, and be fine. So we could even do some overclocking if we really wanted to push things. But I honestly don't believe in overclocking. I think running things below the TDP by a good margin just increases the lifespan of it. So that's just my thoughts. All right, let's exit. And I want to relaunch and see, what do we get? Because we were having problems with the game before, and I think we'll still have the same problem. I just kind of cheesed it by switching to a different open tag on launch. Yeah, and we still got plenty of room. Like we could blow this out of the water. Let's increase probably the graphics a bit. Let's just turn it all to like ultra. Let's start tanking the performance just to see if it makes much of a difference. Let's go game settings too. I think there's an ultra HD thing that I usually disable. Again, not a graphics guy. I don't really care about graphics. So I typically just leave out any HD packs. I know. Blasphemy. I should be fired from being a YouTuber. But I'm all about function over form. There should be an option. Game version. How do we add Diablo 4 HD? Let's add that in here. I know. Everybody's like, burn him. Burn him at the stake. This is blasphemy. But let's see. Yeah, I honestly, I'm liking the Intel chip and combo I got going on inside. They ran a really good deal on the recent chips, where I think I got like a 32 gigs of RAM, the latest i5, the last i5 actually. They're changing the naming scheme, I believe, in the next series, and then motherboard for $500. And I was like, that's a pretty good deal. Oh, let's see. Modify install. High resolution assets. All right, let's just download us some high res assets and see if y'all notice a difference. And then we'll crank up, start stretching the CPU and graphic settings, see if y'all notice much of a difference. Appreciate it, Lab. Appreciate it. I'm really digging NixOS though. It's interesting, and the fact we can do this is pretty good. You know, for this being launch day, or I guess it's the day after launch day, 114 megabytes a second. I mean, we're at 1 gig speeds on a 40 gig download here. Look at that churn away. I don't know if y'all can see that, but Blizzard has some impressive delivery mechanisms to be going at a full gig. What the hell? That's some great servers they have. Yeah, the specs on this board is a 5600. Let's just do a NeoFetch. This system's just a 5600X with a 5700 XT used eBay card. This one actually was a good eBay card. My last 2080 I was going to get was not. It was not good. Man, let's not relive that. And then 32 gigs of memory. I think the 5600 XT has 8 megs of VRAM. And yeah, it's a good card. It's been great for me. I don't really feel the need to upgrade. Do you recommend NixOS for Linux? I would not recommend NixOS to any kind of new Linux user that wants to modify the install that much. It's a different way of doing it thus far, but I don't know. I mean, I think I might be able to make a Nix configuration that most people can use, and it'll be easier for them to configure everything and get my workflow exactly. So if you wanted to copy me 100% and not change anything, this actually would be the best way to go about it. But it has a steep learning curve, especially for a veteran Linux user. People are going to be like, whoa, what the hell? But this is, I think, the first week of NixOS, and I've kind of really liked it. Disable immutability, that kind of defeats the purpose of NixOS. Yeah, I mean, MX Linux, I'm just like, use Debian. I mean, at that point, I mean, Debian's really a great base distro. Everything's based on it. MX Linux, Pop OS, Elementary OS, Ubuntu, what else we got? Kali Linux. You got, oh geez, everything's based on Debian. Linux Mint. I mean, we could just sit here naming all the Debian distros for an hour. We could just start pile them in there. Everything's based on Debian. Just use Debian. I mean, if you know anything about Linux, just use Debian. There's no reason to use any of that other crap. That's why, like, everyone's like, I'm paralyzed with decision in Linux on what distro to choose. I'm like, well, you only got 3 to choose from. Are you a Debian user? Are you a Fedora user? Or are you an Arch user? You decide. You're one of those 3. Everything else is just different shades of the same color. Yeah. Oh, compare the performance of Diablo 4 on this Linux versus the same. I mean, we can. I imagine it'd be pretty close. Probably Windows would squeak out the win, I would imagine, with FSR. We have it installed on both, so let's check it out. Let's do a Windows versus Linux showdown. Which is better? Diablo 4 on Linux, using a minimal system like this with DWM and almost nothing running in the background, but you're still going through a compatibility layer, so that's still a good performance hit, to the standard Windows with some minor tweaks from that I've made, obviously, because I'm not crazy. Who runs stock Windows? That's blasphemy. Crazy people, or people that don't know better. No, nobody runs stock Windows. I mean, at least that's what I tell myself. It's the only way I can sleep at night. But let's just change my stock regular Windows install and compare Linux to the Windows. Now, Linux ran about 120 on that intro with regular resolution assets. We'll boot back into Linux and kind of run the same configuration. Let's notate exactly our configuration so we have a full replica of it, though. FSR is cheating. I mean, FSR is what I run on everything, though. Like, if it has FSR compatibility, I'm running it. Like, you should do the same. If you're an NVIDIA user and it offers DLSS, why wouldn't you get the free frames? You get almost the identical look, but way more performance. It's worth it. Like, if you disable DLSS or FSR, you're a fool. It's always about performance. Oh man, I love this cup. It looks like I'm drinking air. What's that? Hardware Unbox says so. I don't know. I mean, I notice a performance difference with them. All right, here we go. We got our download. We got our HD assets in. We are about to launch this. We'll use FSR in base settings that we should. Let's see. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. It did fix. I think it was vsync that was causing issues. Nice. I was worried about that. So never mind. That did fix it, just disabling vsync. All right. I imagine we're going to get less FPS this time around because we are using HD assets. Let's see. I've heard conflicting reports on YouTube. Some people say the HDR assets decrease their FPS. I mean, frankly, I don't see a difference between either one. Let's check our settings, graphics. No vsync. We're using balanced for FSR2. Oh, we do have max foreground. Let's set that to, we'll just do something stupid like 240. We shouldn't be anywhere close to 240. And a high preset should be fine. Let's not do distortion. I think that's silly. All right, let's save that. Oh boy. All right, we're at 190 FPS. That's just ridiculous. Let's go out, see what we got. Get us a baseline. Make sure we don't have any big spikes on the frame time as well. That's a kind of a bummer when that happens. Not seeing much. Seems to run pretty reliably. Dips maybe 165, 160. Yeah, about 160 is the low here. High is about 190, I'd say, when we're kind of just chilling in town. Definitely hear my card stretch its legs back there. But we're still, what, 75 Celsius? It's kind of an unnecessary strain on the card, but whatever. Let's do just a little bit more. Yeah. 160 is the low. 190, I'm going to call it with those settings. Oh, now we're getting in the 200s. I guess the card needed to warm up a little bit, huh? Very steady, though. All right. Let's reboot into Windows and see what we get. So that's going to be there. Now, let's just exit. Close that. And that. All right. Looks smooth. Looks smooth. 160 for a low in combat. 190 as the high. I imagine in Windows we should be hitting well into the 200s. Probably about 10% performance when you go through a compatibility layer. I'd be guessing. Did I not close all my... I might have left Brave open. Sometimes Brave takes a while. Remind me to look at the default systemd timeouts and make sure to set that to like 10 seconds. This is an annoying Linux default that I hate, that I always change on every distro install. I just didn't do it on this one. Yeah, it was such a dumb idea. Timeout of 90 seconds by default. Yeah, we got about 20 more seconds and then this should kick off. You can force it with like, doing a bunch of control-alt deletes, but it's best just to wait. I'll make sure to look at that. I did notice NixOS does a pretty good job, though, of killing a lot of sessions. This is actually the first time I've run into the systemd timeout. All right, into Windows we go. Let's see, performance-wise, what we're looking at. NixOS did perform pretty darn well and pretty easily, too. I was shocked. Oh, crap. What do we got? Do we have... let's just reboot into firmware. I missed the cutoff. All right, Windows. Remind me to install the OS Prober package so I can change around systemd again. I wish systemd boot had some themes. We can modify it and switch to GRUB though. That's fine. Display is jacked up. 1 second. Oh crap. Oh man, I can't see what I'm doing. 1 second. All right, give me a signal. All right, that gave me something. Ah, yes. What the hell? Alrighty. One more splitter change here, and we'll be fine. Man, I got this splitter, and it just sucks. Not much to say about it, other than its suckage. Yeah, this splitter's always been my tried and true cheapo splitter. That works pretty good. This should fix everything. We switched the splitter around. Let's give us a 1920 by 1080. Keep changes, and then close that. But now I'm not getting a display over here. What? This is what I get for buying cheap stuff. Come on. Switching out. You guys can see stuff, but I just cannot see anything. Okay. Input not supported. What's not supported about this? All right. Oh, I know what's the deal. Let's take a look at advanced display. I bet you, yeah, that's what's up. 60 hertz. Yay. All right, I got it. I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? I can't see my display. And it was trying to run a weird refresh rate. All right, we got our splitter set up. resolution's the same as our Linux instance. And now let's do some D4. I think we're going to have to change the game settings again, modifying the install. We'll grab our high-res packages. All right. You don't need themes. I wish System D boot had some themes. That would have been awesome. I'd have been all right with that. Yeah, this is just a split using external hardware. So this doesn't. I'm not plugging anything more than one HDMI in. It has the exact same configuration as Linux. That's why I always split it out with extra hardware. So it's never running more. This doesn't really matter too much in the desktop realm, but when you get to like Steam Deck or a Raspberry Pi, those types of things, you can't run more than one display or you're without seeing a big performance hit. So I always have an external splitter to do it. That, and you can do some really tricky stuff, like stripping out HDCP. So sometimes you run into, this is a copyright image and it like has that copyright built in the HDMI. You can use splitters, and there's certain splitters that actually do remove HDCP, avoiding other things that happen in there. So it's good. What cam software to use for background removal? Just OBS. It's just an alpha layer, OBS, and a green screen. I have I mounted it to the ceiling, and it's just a pull down screen. So super simple. Nothing. I don't have any crazy whiz bang features here. I'm a big fan of keeping it simple. Here's a hammer, here's a nail, kind of thing. I don't really use GRUB Customizer. Most times I'm editing the etc default GRUB. I always have less issues with GRUB just because I know it better. I understand that Systemd boot is much more simplistic and less things to go wrong, really, because it's the init system that's there already anyways, so why not use it? But as far as speed goes, believe it or not, I actually timed them, and on a system with a 20-second boot, it was 20 seconds with Systemd boot, and it was 19 seconds with GRUB. I thought GRUB would be longer, but shockingly, even though GRUB's an extra package, it boots quicker with a zero timeout. Obviously, the timeout would be nothing between the two. So, but it's obviously negligible. Which bootloader you're using? You could even use Refind as well. Yeah, a lot of interesting facts there. Yeah, Refind is. I like it if you're ever setting up a triple boot system. Let's say you're doing like Hackintosh, Linux, and then also Windows. For a triple boot, Refind is probably the best just because of the compatibility it has, being able to boot all three. But with Hackintosh just kind of dying the slow death, that's not really much of a thing these days. Most people don't care. All right, well, are we ready to benchmark Windows? Let's get it. The Windows benchmark starts now with the HD textures. Let's just see what we got. Aren't gonna buy the video. That's true. I don't know. The younger me could not afford food, but I still had a hell of a gaming rig. I'm gonna just tell you right now, it was no slouch. I may have been eating ramen noodles and skipping meals, but man, my PC back in like the early 2000s was still pretty damn good. Probably more up to date than my system is now, for the time it was. All right, let's. Oh, we don't have a benchmark. Let's see what we got for options though. I guess let's. Oh, we don't have HDR support on the monitor. No virtual sync. We're doing FSR balanced. Foreground. We'll go 255. High preset. No distortion. All right, that's the same settings we had before. Let's exit. And let's load up. What do you guys like for performance? Let's install some performance stuff here. Probably would be... Actually, you know what? I think I have all that in my tool. My little toolbox. Rivia tuner. Probably what I'd use as well. Oh, I don't have Rivia tuner here. Yeah, I do have HW info. Rivia tuner I don't think's on WinGit. That's probably why I don't have it. Let's try that one more time. I already had HW info installed. That's funny. Okay. So that's good. Let's just go tuner download. Probably 3D Guru, right? Probably has the best download for RTSS. Let's see. Come on, where are you at? Oh, that's 3.4 final. Okay, yeah. There we go. Dari, thanks for the prime. Or the sub, actually, yeah. Man, 10 months. Dang. How long I've been streaming on old Twitch? Feels like I've only been doing it for only a couple months now, right? I can't remember when I started it back up. I really enjoyed it though. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, many interruptions. Yeah, I took some long breaks between there. But now that I figured out how to just like record them, and now that I have like tools, I can just throw the streams in and it just chops out all the silence in the stream. You just can't beat that. All right, now we got our Rivia tuner installed. Let's, oh, no. Do we have that? Probably should pin something. You see, I don't use this very often, but let's go statistics server. Let's go here. Okay. Start with Windows. We have on screen there. Probably want to change the profile list. I want to say, is there another one? It's been a while since I used the benchmarking desktop overlay host. I don't think I remember using this. Close. All right, let's launch in, see what we get. We should auto detect it with RTSS. Yeah, I mean, it's just Windows. Oh, we didn't get it. We could use Adrenaline Edition AMD software. Let's see. Let's fix this. Where would I have installed that? Probably threw it in like test. Diablo 4 maybe? Or games? Shoot, I don't know. Where'd I put this game? Y'all's guess is probably just as good as mine. Where did I put you, games? Oh, programs x86. Okay. That's shocking to me. All the places to put stuff, but, you know. Let's just add Diablo 4 in there. Ooh, probably need to quit out, huh? Let's relaunch. So we should see the OSD on launch. OSD? No. All right, fine. Skip. Oh, what is this? Performance. Can we take this and pop it out? I can't remember. Overlay. Yeah, let's just do that. All right, good enough. Sorry. We're switching off of the RTSS. We're just going to use the built-in AMD stuff. All right. So right now we're sitting at about 200 FPS at the top there. Can I take that? Oh, no. No. Okay. Okay. So it's at 174 right now. Why is that less than Linux? Okay, let's make sure we got our settings right. That should not be less. It feels like I'm getting a little more jitter too. It is Windows 11, which kind of sucks, but you know. Yeah, everything else. Let's go quality preset, high, and then I just disable distortion. Okay. 200. Got a big drop in the 170s. Come on over here. Yeah, about what I expected. About 10% uplift. Drop into the 159 though. Seems like there's a little more variance here. Let's come into a little bit larger pack. 168, 160, 157, 177. Yeah, it seems like there's a greater variance where Linux typically sticking around that 170 to 190 threshold, where Windows goes all the way up into the 200s, and then we do see a bit of a drop into the 160s when we see like a really good pack of enemies here. 170 right now. I can hear the GPU really working hard back there. Current temp's 80. Damn, if it gets hotter, it's going to start thermal throttling there. Yeah, okay. Man, look at that. Temp. Either way, I mean, there's really not much performance difference between the two, especially after I throttle all this back and put it to sane settings. I would never really run this. 160s. Oogie Boogie, that's a good name. I think there's an altar of Lilith down here I hadn't grabbed. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, cool. Well, good to know. So if you want to play it on Linux, you want to play it on Windows, doesn't matter. Works about the same. I don't know why there's not much of a performance drop. It seems pretty on par, meaning it doesn't really matter what one you choose, which makes sense because I am playing it on the Steam Deck mostly. When I'm laying in bed, this is usually where I'm playing it, not at my desktop PC. So that does make sense that you wouldn't see much performance drop. It's just a testament to how good Blizzard optimizes their games compared to most of the industry. A lot of the industry just kind of pushes it out half-baked, where it doesn't even really run right on any operating system with a lot of the bugs they encounter. Pretty interesting. My goodness, though. It is going bonkers back there. I really hate a lot of the extra add-ins, though, like AMD utilities and a lot of this crap. I just don't like a lot of minimal. I'm more minimal. I just don't like a lot of bloat or any of the craziness. It just doesn't matter to me that much. How the hell do you get rid of the overlay is what I want to know, though. Okay, overlay. There we go. Let's remove that. Super annoying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty negligible, the difference. Like, you could chalk that up to where I was, the monster packs, the spells cast. Like, 5% could go either way. You know, I wouldn't say one's definitively better than the other. I would say that there was a bit more variance in Windows, which I was kind of surprised by. But other than that, I mean, most of them play just the same. Oh, is there an MV install for AMD cards? I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Vulkan flattens out the FPS more regular. It did seem that way, where this is probably running DirectX, and when you throw it through the DXVK compatibility layer, it's converting it over into Vulkan, and Vulkan just steadies that out. And like I said, when it comes to stability, I'm all about less variance, which is good. So I'd much rather play this game in Linux. That's definitely to be said. Yeah, I would say Linux would be my preferred for Diablo 4 over Windows. But if you're on Windows, it's not like you're playing at any kind of disadvantage. It's still a game designed for Windows in mind. So don't take it as, hey, you need to go run out and install Linux right now if you're a huge Diablo 4 fan. I would just say you're playing at, no disadvantage or advantage, depending on what you know. For me, I like my setup in Linux a little better just because I can easily swap between anything. If I need to look up something on my screen, I can just tab over to another tag and then launch into it compared to my Windows setup, which makes it so much easier. I love it. Yeah, well, it wasn't Diablo 3 played about the same as well. If you remember, for Diablo 3, it played well. It always played well on Linux, actually. I think even back in 2018, 2019, I want to say Diablo 3 always was a decent Linux player. Path of Exile is what I loved. And Path of Exile played like crap on Linux. It was awful. It had so much stutter, so much inconsistency, and that has been fixed 100%. Like Path of Exile is another game where it went the other way, where it was terrible in the Linux realm, and then it got fixed to where it's now a lot better experience. Yeah, and that's another thing. I want to say NixOS, I want to configure mine and then kind of make like a little manual to go along with it, and then be able to give it to everybody. So I want to say like new Linux users could take my configuration and use it and see kind of what it is, and it'd be a very unique setup to where not like a lot of other distributions would give you, and it'd show people how minimal something could be. I obviously still have a little bit of work to do here, but otherwise it's pretty good. Yeah, this is my main system here, Pete. So this is what I use. You can see, I mean, I was initially regretting switching this over, but after doing it, it's really nice. I really enjoy it. Oh, what is my host name? Yeah, NixOS Studio is what I made my host name. But I don't like to use virtual machines a lot, especially when I tackle something new, because virtual machines are usually not a 100% accurate descriptor of what's going to happen with your hardware and other things. So I think virtual machines are great when you first start learning Linux because you can just kind of break stuff really easy and then snapshot back. But after you know enough, virtual machines don't really do much for you other than kind of give you a little bit of a break in on something new. But for this, a lot of the issues we ran into were like gaming. Gaming out of the box was a little bit funky setting up. Some of the Virt IO and virtualization setup was pretty unique. System D tweaks were also interesting and unique. A lot of that would not have transpired to a virtual environment. I mean, some of it would, but not all of it. Probably about half of the tweaks we made, we probably could have established in a virtual machine. But yeah, I mean, it's just so good. Bare metal is always great. So that's pretty darn good. How do you deal with hardware video acceleration on Linux? Usually it just works. There's not much to it. A lot of hardware, some legacy applications and proprietary applications require like OpenCL drivers, or if you're using AMD, they might require like ROCm drivers on AMD. NVIDIA, typically all those are, out of the box, just good to go. If you're doing a lot of proprietary stuff with hardware acceleration, NVIDIA is probably the way to go. But I don't really on Linux. I still use DaVinci Resolve in Windows just because it has a better feature set. Yeah, OBS. I'm really curious to see AV1 encoding. Like, I hate X264. I would really want to see AV1 kind of become the mainstay, the de facto standard across the board everywhere. Because the encoding, and I think it's AV1 is going to be top dog and unseat really the crown from using X264. So if you're not on the AV1 train, get ready because it's freaking amazing. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to kind of touch a little bit more on NixOS Gaming in this live stream. Just kind of try out the Diablo 4. It's kind of fun, bounce between Linux and Windows, and then do a couple more things with NixOS. I'm still waiting for that roadblock in NixOS, though. Like, I'm waiting for the thing it doesn't do. I'm waiting for, oh crap, I need this. I gotta switch to a different distro. I have not had the oh crap moment yet. Everything I've gotten going, I'm like, well, this is gonna be a hell of a lot easier the next time I try and do this. Well, this is gonna be a lot easier. I got all this implemented into one file. Every single configuration I've done in NixOS is in one file. I mean, dude, that's kind of crazy. It's nuts. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Oh, don't I need a rice and patch DWM? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. But I'm not gonna have time to do that today. That is gonna take longer than an hour. I think we'll make Thursday's stream a DWM patch and rice day because there's still some stuff we need to do there. I really, really do love so far everything in Nix. I'm curious to see when we run into the oh crap moment, and I'm starting to think we might not, because gaming is a hard one to tackle in NixOS, and I really didn't do much front loading on this stream. I just kind of tossed Lutris and some other crap I know I was going to need and be like, okay, that should be enough to start the stream off with. we'll probably run into a lot more problems. But it ended up being like disable vsync because of DWM thing. That wasn't even a Nix thing. All the packages were already there. I mean, okay. So you just add a couple lines in the Nix configuration file and you're ready to game for the most part. That's kind of nuts, but I like it. So yeah, let's do some more DWM ricing and stuff. Uh, so far, I love the fact I can just shut this down like in 2 seconds. Like I just hit shut off and then it's gone, and my system's done. And you know, everything feels snappy. Everything feels much better than any other system I've been on. Really, I know that sounds weird coming from me. I've been on everything, but I really, really dig NixOS so far. It's nice. Yeah, the oh crap moment is when you get bored. I think I think there's a lot of truth in that statement, Ashlyn. I mean, I don't know, Peter. I think DWM's probably going to be my last window manager. And the only thing I could see moving me off of DWM is Wayland. Right now, I don't see a point in switching to Wayland yet, but it's definitely on the way. And I wonder if the Suckless team is even going to bother with Wayland, because right now I don't think they've really taken many stabs. There's DWL, which is like a fork of this, and it just brings it to Wayland. But I mean, I don't see myself trying anything else for a while, at least. Now that I understand it, yes. Yeah, I totally see why you couldn't fully move to Wayland. Going back to Hyperland, yeah, Hyperland's a pretty good setup. I really liked Hyperland with Wayland. It still has some bugs. It's still inconsistent in parts. It just needs to mature a bit. And I could see that if I had to move to Wayland, or let's say Wayland starts getting feature parity with Xorg and all the other applications are in Wayland, like Synergy is what I use a lot to, heck, just to, when I'm on stream here, I usually have to launch Synergy. So it's up here, and then I can come up into my other system really easily. Speaking of which, but before we get too far off, I do need to add Synergy and an ampersand here. Yeah, let's just toss that in there before I forget, so I don't have to keep launching it manually. But there's just like little things. Still tinkering. Like I said, it'll probably take a good month or two before I really, the honeymoon phase is over and it's like, all right, how's this relationship really gonna work? So I guess we just have to kind of wait and see. But everyone is moving to Wayland, and the Hyperland animations is bar none the best. It's just feature parity and just overall function. You know, there's still some bugs. There's still some programs that still use Xorg instead of Wayland. It's not going to be long now, though. I feel like it's any year now, in the next year or two. Almost every distribution I see moving to Wayland. I mean, there's a lot Wayland has going for it. It finally feels like it's the ball's starting to roll. But I think we're still several years out before a real big shift happens and everything moves to it. I would say definitely 2 years at least. Let's see. Why isn't this updating? I just noticed. No? Huh, weird. Let's try. Did it break? Did I break it? I broke it right here. Oh no, there it goes. I was like, that was only a matter of time. Office chair of choice. I don't really have one. I'm kind of just buy the cheap stuff off of Amazon. I think it's like a $300 chair, which is a lot for me, but it's been an okay chair. I wouldn't recommend it though. There's better chairs out there. I know some projects make Synergy for Wayland. Have you tried any? Yeah, I explored Waynergy if you're looking for a Synergy alternative, but it's client only, no server. I like running the Synergy server off of my main Linux box because I'm crazy. I probably should just move it to my Windows production box that never really changes, but I haven't yet. Spectrum WMS Let's see. Yeah. PyCom is interesting. At least it's still in production. I remember Compton being used quite a bit. I don't know why that's not updating. Let's just go to good old Twitch chat. There we go. It's like, why can't I not see my chat? It's not updating. Fedora stopping LibreOffice support. Really? To help with desktop features on Linux. That's cool, I guess. An Aaron chair. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, the delay on this stream's not too bad. It's a lot better than YouTube. YouTube delay was, ungodly. I just couldn't. Like, I'm sure it'd be better streaming to more people on YouTube, but I tried it a whole bunch, and I'm just like, this is for the birds. Why fight an uphill battle? I was like, there's just no point. It was not doing much. It's much better to record the raw stream over here on Twitch and then just chop it up and then make a YouTube video for YouTube. It's what YouTube does well. Twitch does live streaming the best. Herman Miller, yeah. If you have the money, Herman Miller, I've heard just everyone rave about it. I can't spend $1,000 on a chair. I mean, damn, that's a lot of money. I can't do it. I just can't. Well, cool. Oh man, thanks for the prime there, gaming. I think I'm gonna shut it down for today, guys. Thursday, I think we'll continue with some of the configuration. I think we got to make it look pretty next. We're close to getting almost everything in that I've possibly used. We did gaming. We've done advanced configuration on a past stream. We did the basic configuration. I don't think there's much else I can think about what this is missing. There's something, I'm sure, that's going to pop up in the next week or two, but we're getting down to the wire where it's just like super niche stuff that I don't use all the time. As when I'm out here doing my stuff, it's just working like a champ. So we'll do some DWM, ricing and making it look pretty on Thursday and some other stuff. We'll see. I'll have some good news stories tackling, I had to dig into Apple a little bit in today's stream just because, man, I don't know why people keep buying that crazy stuff. It's so overpriced and just so ridiculous. I'm like, why? It's so silly. Yeah, I know all about that. It's hot here in Texas about it being hot. Gotta have mesh chairs all the way. But all right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you guys on Thursday. And in the meantime, I'm going to be playing a little bit of Diablo 4 in bed, probably. But when I'm at the computer, I might pull it up a couple times here. I might, one of these days, maybe this weekend, I'll stream a little bit on Twitch. But I don't know. I kind of feel like streaming and gaming, for me, it doesn't really work that well because I guess I get too focused on some of the game, and sometimes when I'm gaming, I just kind of want to shut my mind off and just kind of kick back and relax. I don't know. I think I'm just getting old. Anyways, take it easy, y'all. Remember, if you're playing Diablo 4, play it on Linux.